Hello and welcome to the 2022 UCI Mountain Bike Eliminator World Cup, powered by City Mountain Bike. We are in Oudenaarde or Oudenaarde, depending on your pronunciation. We are back once again into what could be considered the home of really tough cycling, and the racing here really exciting because we have, of course, the home of the Tour of Flanders and the Tour of Flanders Museum here in the city. We've got some great sights. We have lots of racing. The Koppenberg Cross is just down the road, but we are parked directly in the centre of town, waiting to start the 5th round of the UCI. And as you can see, plenty of our riders have already been in and visited the Flanders Museum, and those riders now getting ready to start this fantastic course laid out in front of us in the town square. Always going to test the riders here, and today is no exception. Now we start with the time trial. In the women's time trial, Gaia Tolmena, the world champion, taking top spot, completing her lap in 58.199 seconds from Marion Fromberger. Then it was Ella Homegaard and Didi de Vries at the lift. Pipers Red at the top 5. Marcela Lima Matos, the rider who excelled on round 1, currently in the 6th position. We see the return of Kuiper as well. Let's see who is going to challenge and be able to go through. So our riders seeded based on their time trial times in the women's time trial, and those riders will then be into the racing, which will start with our women's quarterfinals. So the riders getting themselves ready to take to the Eliminator. In the Eliminator, basically 2 riders going through and 1 rider being eliminated in each of our finals. When we have 4 riders in our quarterfinals, then it will be 2 through onto the next round. And as you can see, Tolmena, Fromberger, Homegaard and de Vries all separated out because of that qualifying time in the time trial. Going to be really interesting to see who can go through. Some tough asks, I think, for Vermeer and Van Kampen, but this is Eliminator and anything can happen in the heats. So our riders lined up and ready. Tolmena from Italy on the left hand side in that World Champions jersey, then Vermeer and Kuiper who will take it. Our riders primed and ready for race start. So the riders crouched down low on the bars, and the riders going to go off from the start. This absolutely critical. Kuiper in 2nd place, just going to try and jump onto the wheels of Tolmena. So it is Kuiper in the blue, Tolmena in the white of the world champions. Onto our first obstacle. This is really nasty. If you hit this slow, it will take you off. It is a real steep bump onto the safety jogger. A step up, hits it hard enough, will fly up onto the top of the slope, and a look over the shoulder for Tolmena as they come in to the left-hand turn on the wall ride. And you can see the pace that Tolmena has taken around there through that chicane, and this really has opened up the gaps at the moment. So the positions being set of Tolmena, Kuiper and Vermeer as they come up over the next of our obstacles. This double jump. I think Tolmena taking this very carefully at the moment as she comes around, looking over her shoulder. She won't want to make a mistake. She won't want to expend too much energy. Key here is to be able to push hard enough to go through, but not too hard so you wear yourself out. Now over the doubles, and going over that actually with very little speed because they're going around 180-degree turns. They come in to this long twisting section. It takes you around the side of the church in towards the finishing line. Remember, this is 2 riders through, 1 rider eliminated, and the key here is to stay clear of trouble. So at the moment, it is going to be Aurélie Vermeer, who is currently in trouble from Merribaker, and a rider who's very comfortable off-road, podium rider on the DVV cyclocross, but at the moment, certainly looking like she's in trouble at the moment. Distanced by the world champion, distanced by Elodie Kuiper. So Kuiper from the Netherlands currently safe in 2nd place. Gaia Tolmena in her traditional front of the race lead out pretty much from the gun. And the world champion at XCE at the Eliminator looking to have a very smooth run into the finish. And this means she's not going to expend too much energy now. Goes around this 180-degree turn. Has to get it lined up to get over there. You can just see out of the saddle. When the pressure is on, though, it can be very easy to make a mistake there. At the moment, these 2 riders having a nice clean run. at that obstacle, but with it coming so close to the corner, expecting later rounds for people to make mistakes. So fist bump for our first two riders in heat number 1. That is Guy Tormainer and Elodie Kuiper going in and through to our next round, subject to confirmation by our judges, our commissaires on site, and it is going to be Aurélie Vermeer, who is knocked out this time around. Now, riders lined up ready, and we are going to see our next heat away. This is heat number 2 lined up and ready. So on the start line on the left, you can see Maricek getting a good start, but she's not got the answer to the riders around her, and that is because the pace from the start, very, very hot here. You can just see the riders out. So here, Didi de Vries looking good with that number 4 plate on at the front of the race. But you can see just coming from the inside there and hovering and awaiting little Pipers while she was right behind her in the time trial. They are 4 and 5 plate. That means the 4th and 5th seat coming into this quarter-final. And look at the gap they have opened up at the moment. It looks to me like Maricek is going to be out of the running here already. But remember, she keeps pushing, she stays in touch. One slip, one slide, one fall, one mechanical. We see chains break, people will hit barriers. Everything and anything can happen on a tough course. The more pressure she can apply to the riders, the more likely they are to make a mistake coming around. We hope they're going to stay safe, but it is all part of XCE. Now, leading the race out, you can just see that Didi de Vries from the Netherlands. Certainly it looks like she's got it reasonably comfortably at the moment, but Piper's just moving up, a regular rider on the road, and XCO just interestingly popping up, getting some air onto that ramp, travelling across from the right-hand line into the centre line on that feature, again popping from right slightly to the left there. Some riders do have a drift when they go in the air, and at the moment certainly looks to me like Piper's just content to take the front of the race as she goes in and around. We're just taking a little bit of a look at the rider in 2nd place now, Didi de Vries, 4th in the overall standings at the moment. She will be wanting to get prime spot as they come in. Expect to see a sprint from de Vries just to take that position. She knows just to save her energy at the moment. These riders know once they are clear of the rider in 3rd place, it's about being safe, getting a secure spot in those semi-finals. Now over the doubles they go, no chance to get any kind of air over there. But both riders just going to take a look across, and I think going to roll in. You can just see de Vries rolling up on the shoulder there. Fist bump before they roll over the line. Oh, let's see who's going to take that. Pretty clear our 2 riders through, and look at that, very smart by de Vries. She rolls Pipers there on the way through. So halfway through our women's quarterfinals, we get ready for the 3rd of the quarterfinals. You can see our riders getting lined up, primed and ready. So our riders, Melanie van Kampvoort, Marion Fromberger and Agnes Abrahamson, are lined up across the straight, that number 2 plate on Fromberger. She's number 2 in the qualification. She's number 2 in the series overall. Is she going to be able to maintain that? Let's keep an eye as they get ready for race start. So our riders are primed, ready to go. Who's going to go off quickly from the start? Very different riding positions. And you can see the Torben Zagrok rider on the left-hand side. That is Van Comfort, not as low over the bars, and certainly Fromberg, again, good drive, but she's being pushed here as they come up and over the first of our obstacles. As they come around to that safety jogger step up, it is quite literally like 2 steps. There's a ramp, then there is a cutaway, and then there's the platform at the top. Get that right, it's really easy to get it wrong. It's very, very slow. Carry that speed through the wall ride and into the turns, and you can carry a lot of pace. And at the moment, we are seeing a pattern developing in the racing with 2 riders clear at the front, the 3rd rider really having to push, and those gaps opening. But we'll wait until we get into the semi-finals, and I think we're going to see a different pattern start to emerge as these riders get closer and closer together in terms of their times around the track. Remember, our riders gridded based on their position in that time trial. That's what gives us our grid numbers and our rider number plates. So Fromberger number 2, 2nd fastest time in that time trial, immediately behind, and that is going to be Agnes Abrahamson. No strangers to going fast. The Swede, a regular speed skier, in fact, and clocked at well over 140 kilometres an hour. In fact, one of the things that she gets up to when not out on the bike. currently down 13th in the overall series. Will she move up? Well, she certainly will if she continues like this. Certainly looks to be a smart ride, but she can't afford to relax too much. You just see behind the rider behind, just starting to try and close back down, and I can see that Van Comfort is not going to give up here. So another road cyclocross as well as a mountain bike rider in third place. And she'll know from the cyclocross and from mountain biking, you never give up. Another look behind from Fromberger, really wise head of Marion Fromberger's shoulders. She's ridden these races so many times. And look at this, the race behind is now starting to get interesting. Remember, 2 riders through. Fromberger's clear at the front. Second place here is up for grabs. It's going to come down to who can get over this obstacle, clearly. So can Van Comfort take some speed off that downhill ramp? Who's got the kick out from the obstacle in towards the finish? Fromberger's going to get closed down here, but I think it is going to come down to that start and the chase back not being enough from Van Comfort. So it is Melanie Van Comfort who will be eliminated out of the 2 lanes going in and through. As we move on to our final quarter-final here in Oudenaarde, and now we have Conor Holmgaard and Matos. Holmgaard qualifying in third place, got a good start, but watch out for Matos, a rider who we know can always be expected to excel. Very, very quick starter and a strong rider who was absolutely flying in Abu Dhabi. So the riders lined and ready to go, and away they go. Who's going to take this away as they come in? Well, look at Matos off from the straight. She's not had a great couple of rounds when we were across in Ireland and in Belgium, and she was out of the top 10 there. Well, is she back to her best here? She's got a good start off here into the safety jogger. So up they go. Just see some air on the way up. You can just see our last rider of the 3 here. That is Ada Kunik from Turkey. She was struggling a little bit there. The backwards popped up at an angle as she landed it, and that makes it difficult then to get the drive through and to push onwards. So at the moment, it is Marcela Lima Matos from Brazil leading, from Ella Holmgaard from Sweden, and then Ada Kunik from Turkey. And again, you can just see our Turkish rider. She's not giving up on this at all. And I tell you what, this is a spirited ride by her. She's looking to close down. A look from Matos over her shoulder. She's keeping an eye behind. Holmgaard needs to do the same here. If they relax, they will be in trouble because Conor will carry some pace and speed up onto them. And what you got to do is try and catch the riders by surprise. Now Holmgaard hears the wheels hitting the ramp. You can hear the riders when you hit these obstacles. It's a solid thump, and once they start rattling, that's when you know that the rider is coming up behind you. Now on to lap number 2 of the 2. Just carrying plenty of speed. Got to get the landing right. Remember, those tyres are landing. They're not landing on smooth surface. They're landing on those stacks of timber laid across the track. At the moment, though, it is Matos and Holmgaard who have the qualifying positions. They come around, take the left-hand wall right here, and that gap, I think, is opened up once again here in Oudenaarde. So who will take away victory? Who is going to be the rider who will claim top spot at the moment? It certainly looks like Matos has got control of this race, but both riders, of the 2, it is Holmgaard who is the more experienced. Ella Holmgaard from Gothenburg in Sweden. 21-year-old, slightly more experienced and done a little bit more. Lemos, the same age from Brazil, but not ridden as many of these. And I think Holmgaard maybe just saving a little bit of pace and a little bit of speed. These 2 riders, so you can see clear now and should have a straightforward run in towards the line, just twisting around the chicane and over the finish line here in Oudenaarde in Belgium. So around number 5, quarterfinals are 2 qualifiers in the 4th and final quarterfinal in over the line, and you can see Matos and Holmgaard. In fact, all of our qualifiers having a relatively straightforward run through those quarterfinals and on into our semi-finals. So the results confirmed on the screen for you. Tormena, De Vries, Fromberger and Matos, the winners. The riders eliminated Vermeer and Maricek along with Van Comfort and Kunik, and those riders taking no further part in the competition. So our women now get to get onto the rollers and spin those legs around as the men get ready to start. As you can see, the world champion Simon Gegenheim only taking 2nd place to Quincy Schwartzenberg, the leader of the time trial, and hence the first rider. Rider number 1 play in the first of our quarterfinals. 4 riders in each of our quarterfinals, 2 riders through, 2 riders eliminated. Let's see who's going to go through. Now, We've got Schwartzenberg, the fastest rider. He's the third rider from the left. You've got Perrin Gagne, the rider who was a former world champion in there. The riders lined, and they're going to go very shortly indeed here. I think we can see just how low they're crouching, waiting for that go from the team. So here we are, pride and waiting a little while there. That's going to make things really nervous. It's going to be tight into this first obstacle. Let's see who is going to take this away as they come in. It's looking very, very fast as they hit the obstacle, as they go up and over onto the safety jogger. Down they come. This is going to be quick. This is going to be very, very fast indeed. You can just see around that wall right. They're carrying a lot of height. They've got to be careful on that exit if they don't get that nailed. All four riders in contention at the moment as they start heading across. We're going to go up and over. Now that is a real difficult obstacle to hit at pace, and looks to be like we are now going to find 3 riders clear. Just waiting to see what happens to our 4th rider. It looks to me like we're down to 3. The man who's in the danger zone at the moment, though, that's Titouan Perrin Gagne. And that is dangerous, and that is because if he gets eliminated, he'll take no further part. He's up against Joel Berman. Berman really pushing on here in 2nd place, and look at Schwartzenberg. He went flying, he's clearing all of the timber, he's hitting it that fast. And now onto the step up. They've got to get this right. They can't take too much pace actually onto this, because if you do land over the crest, it's very hard to control on the landing. We've seen that before around that wall ride. And these 3 riders are fighting for 2 places, and it could be Titouan Perrin Gagne who gets eliminated. If he stays where he is, he's got to move up here or he's going to be in trouble. And this is not good. Remember, he was 2nd in the series overall. He was 2nd place in the last round at Ulm in Germany. He's rarely outside of the top spot. He won the 1st round in the UAE in Saudi Arabia. We're going to see who is going to take this in Abu Dhabi. Who's going to take this? So look at this, they're shoulder to shoulder. Perrin Gagne wants his Berman. He's got his elbows out. Who's got the pointy elbows? Who's got the power? Oh, so close on the line there. And look at that, Perrin Gagne just taking that. That's got to be so close. Can't wait to see what the timing is. So Schwartzenberg and Perrin Gagne should go through, with Berman taking 3rd place, and it's going to be Simon Gutman who comes in 4th position. The gap between them is shown at the moment as 0.02 of a second between 2nd and 3rd place, the difference between through and eliminated. Now, the man who took the victory here before, that is Ceres, who is the rider 2nd from the left of screens, up against Gerli, as well as Fierro and Hauser. So who's going to take away top spot this time round? Hauser with the fastest qualifying time, but Lorenzo Ceres is a smart cookie, and he knows this course inside out. Big kickoff from the line, and away they go. And you can just see Ceres looking just to push on here. It's close behind. And Fierro, Barry Fierro, is one of those riders who you don't want to tangle with. He regularly battles with the riders and pushes his way up and through. And you can just see a really tight move being made there by Hauser. Nice bike handling skills he comes through. And look at Fierro, elbows out. I'm coming through, thank you very much. Mr. Gerli gets to the back of the queue, and all of a sudden it's another position change as he comes in and through. So, up over the bike in the go, Lorenzo Ceres leading. House not giving this to him by any stretch of the imagination. He's nowhere near over this race. And look at Fierro sitting in 3rd place, hovering behind. Is he going to be able to make this move? Where is he going to make the move? Is probably the bigger question, because he's bound to put one in. But the question will be, where will he choose to do so? There are limited overtaking opportunities. And Hauser, look at this, he's already shoulder to shoulder. He goes up against Ceres as he comes up into this feature up over the wood, and not carrying quite as much speed this time through, just popping it down. And Fierro nearly takes out the barriers on the way round that corner. He pushed it to the end of the track, and that cost him dear, because he's dropped him back into 4th place. He was in a position he could challenge. Now Gerli gets a chance to move up onto the wheel of Ceres. Can he go round him at the front of the race? That gap has opened up, and that is making a big difference here, because as the gap opens up, Theo Hauser is starting to open up the lead. behind him, Ceres is in trouble. He's starting to run out of time to open the gap on Gerli. Attila Gerli from Hungary is going to want to come round him. They're going to come round this turn now. Who's going to get the line? Inside line by Gerli. He takes a shorter route. That might well pay off for him. He's got the inside line on this corner. He puts the bike in front here. Ceres, and he's the defending champion from Oudenaarde last year, going to go out. He is. Look at that. Gerli pumps the bars on the floor, and you can just see how stoked he is about getting that race win. So it's Hauser taking the race win. Gerli coming through. Ceres out of the competition. Who would have thought that? Lorenzo Ceres eliminated out 0.6 of a second, separating them as they came through the line. And Eric Fierro, after that bold move, comes through at the end after making a mistake. Now, the world champion in our next round. Here we go. Off they go. World champion in the white with the rainbow bands. Rider with number 2, second fastest qualified. Goes straight to the front of the race field. He is up against Ibe Delbaer, as well as Nice Obig, Rika and Daniel Castillo, Nayolo. And of these riders, Nayolo it is who is taking on the world champion. But look at the power of getting time coming in. Oh, big mistake, big mistake coming in. It looks like just a little bit of a tangle there, and I think that could be Delbaer who's going to be eliminated out of this race just by being tangled with the barriers. We're going to double check on the way through. It certainly looks like it to me. Yep, on the way through, so it looks like the Belgian rider who tangled, he bumped into another rider, shoulder to shoulder. He was trying to get through, he couldn't make the move, and again, look at this, another move being made up the inside here. This is brave riding by Nils Obe Rika. Rika now comes up. He takes top spot at the moment. He's got the front of this race, but they are exchanging places. They are moving around faster than beers on the bars in the squares of Oudenaarde today, and at the moment, I don't think you would want about any of these riders. You just want to put a drink and another one. And we saw that from wide there before. And again, you can just see that it has come really tight and tangled. So the rider's coming up over the top here. It looks to me like WA just sit on the floor there. The two riders who should go through just easy enough as they come around that left-hand turn. Now, we always see thrills and spills when it comes to the racing. I think the racing pretty much decided at that point. I don't think that we have any kind of issues in terms of who's going to go through, because these two riders were clear. The other two riders are really collecting part of the course furniture on the way round, and that is not good news for the riders as they make their way around the course. So hopefully everybody is safe and in one piece. Hopefully everybody is going to be picking themselves back up. They're made of tough stuff, the riders, but it looks to me like Gegenheimer is going to go through here. He's going to go through with Daniel Castillo and Nayolo. The first rider down was Ibe Delbaer, and then we saw another tangle with the barriers, and Delbaer just picking himself up. I don't think he's particularly happy about being eliminated from the race there. By the time you saw him go up the inside, and you saw that a really aggressive move there. And that move came from Nils Obed Rika. Rika, though, not qualifying because he goes into the barriers a little bit later on. A massive shake of the head there by Delbaer, and I think that is going to be, I think he'll probably process that, but it's not going to make any difference to who goes through, because the move that was made on his outside was made by somebody who, a little bit later on, had his own coming together with the barriers on the exit to the corner. So, really interesting scenes down at Oudenaarde. This is where we saw Rika. He went, took a really wide line. He was too intent on overtaking Gegenheimer. He goes into the barriers and he takes them out now. The rider's being told to go wide. You just saw there over the rider who was on the floor. But I think that result will still stand. We're just waiting for confirmation on the way around. The commissaire team, there are race referees, will be checking the footage. They will be making sure that they are happy. And of course, the course is in one piece. So they are going to have to wait, of course, as Ibe Delbaer just makes his way around the course here. He's back up in one piece. He's back and riding. And I think more angry than bruised and damaged on the way through. And let's be honest, we're racing mountain bikes. We're racing them around a really tight course inside the town centres. We're racing them around all sorts of entertaining and interesting courses that really do test our riders. And you can just see that the riders have been to get themselves around and clear without hitting the deck. So We'll get confirmation very shortly of the result. On to our next round now. Klausman, the fast starter on the left-hand side. Ricky Morales, the third from the left. Could be up against it here because we've got Jay Bitterbeer and Emmanuel Hues in here as well. Bitterbeer with the plate number 11 on the right-hand side, looking for a bit of a comeback here. But at the moment, it is Klausman who gets that fast start. He rode really well here last year, but didn't take away victory. But the man who was able to beat himself is eliminated already, and we've seen so many thrills and spills on the way around now. Up onto the safety jogger ascent, up over the top. And it is Ricky Morales who has spent a lot of time actually in the area, seeing the site, visiting the climbs, and gets plenty of riding in on that bike. Currently in there, and certainly it looks to me like he is going to be in control slightly as they come round. I'm really hesitant to say that. I'm even more hesitant to say that now, as the Puerto Rican rider leads the racing out at the moment. Behind him is our German rider, it's Felix Klausman. But at the moment, those positions looking pretty stable. And we do sometimes see a little bit of a calming down in the action because of a big bump or a thrill or a spill. It certainly looks to me like at the moment these riders are working well together to stay clear of our rider in fourth place, and not bumping and barging at the moment, but that's all going to change before we get to the finish now. In just see Klausman using that speed, he comes up on the right-hand shoulder of Morales. Morales just takes a look over his shoulder, he wants to get into the safety jogger nice and cleanly. The rider's still using that wall ride, even though that rider's been moved back out of the way, because it carries more speed, because you can push in further around like you'd use the banking on a velodrome to carry that pace or a berm out on the track. Now, bit of a move, just I think going to be made here. You just see it being lined up by Emmanuel Hues. Hues now goes over the top here of Morales. He's moved himself into second position. Morales has inside line though as it comes to line. Remember, 2 riders through, the rest of the riders eliminated, and Klausman goes for it. And now Ricky has got to put the power down now. Can he fly to the finish? Look at Hues go. He was biding his time. It's going to be whether or not Morales can squeeze through, and he shakes his head. He didn't make it stick. After all of that work, it's Hues who goes through as the victor there. Emmanuel Hues of Italy takes the win from Felix Klausman. Ricky Morales in third place, and Jay Bitterbeer, the rider who is eliminated out already on the way through. So let's get confirmation of those results. And we can see heat number 3, the big one that we had a question about. It is Nayolo and Gegenhammer who go through. Schwartzenberg, Penga, Hauser, Gerali, Hues, and Klausman, who we've just seen qualify, making their way through from the quarterfinals into our semi-finals. So straight onto our semi-finals. It's packed action here today with Gaia, Tormen, Didi de Vries, Liv Pipers, Ali Kuiper in heat 1. Fromberg, Hongard, Matos, and Abrahamson in the second of our semi-finals. So here we go. 4 riders, 2 through, 2 eliminated down to the minor final, the rest through to the main final. Tormena puts the glasses on nice and securely on the left-hand side. De Vries in the red, white, and blue. Then it's Pipers in the all-black, and LD and Kuiper in the light and dark blue on the right-hand side of your screen. 4 riders lined up. We're good to go. Let's see who is going to take away top spot. Well, it looks like still rumblings continuing onwards. The riders, I think, currently slightly less happy is going to be the rider who, had he not been wiped out, might have been in third place, but I don't think it's going to change the result. We'll see what happens today. It's rumbling onwards. These riders can't focus on that. They've got to focus on going fast and staying with the wheel of Tormena. Look at that power straight out of that start gate. Well, Tormena right on the track for the Italian team. And look at that. Basically, manuals the entire way over the top at the front of the group. The back of the group is Kuiper who goes through. And Joseph, you can just see, not carrying quite as much speed. She's got to get back in touch with that group pretty quickly. She won't want to get distance too soon. But at the moment, Gaia Tormena leading the Didi Vries in second place. Liv Pipers in third place with Kuiper in fourth position. So at the moment, Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, and Netherlands racing for position, racing for a top 2 spot. Now, Liv Piper's got to get on in touch and got to get on terms with Didi de Vries. De Vries will want to get one over on the world champion. And the problem when you are a dominant rider, the rider who is regularly winning and in the rainbow stripes, is you're the rider they all want to beat. just to beat Tormena. I think is a target for a lot of the riders at some point during the racing. But look at Tormena, she's not giving up in any stretch of the imagination. Look at the pace that she's carrying through there. She's going to drag De Vries clear, and it could well be that these two riders are going to get a clear run, with Piper's coming through in 3rd place. But they've got to stay focused. Relax too much, you'll make a mistake, and you'll see what happens when you make a mistake in the game. Here, you are going to be laid on the floor. You're going to be tangling with the barriers. You're going to be having a grub and not big fit company on the drive home, and that's for sure, because it is very easy to end up coming off the course. That's what makes the Eliminator so much fun. Now, up and over these two riders, I think you can just see by the body language of the two, Tormena, the more comfortable, the more fluid, a little bit more relaxed. De Vries just working harder to stay with her, just bouncing just a little bit more rigid in those shoulders. De Vries looks over her right shoulder, looking to see where the 3rd place rider, Liv Pipers, is. Round this left-hand turn, up on to the double. Both riders going over it pretty smoothly, being pretty careful not to get pedal strikers go over the lips of the doubles at the tops of the upper sections. At the moment, though, both riders, I think we're going to see the free run in, and I think a wave from Gaia Tormena to the crowd coming through, taking victory in the first of our semi-finals. So Tormena and De Vries will go through to the main final. It will be Pipers and Elodie Kuiper who go through to the minor final. Wow, that was definitely an entertaining race, in the sense that we saw a very careful ride there by, I think, all of the riders, because those riders going through to the main final just taking it a little bit easier. Now, Abramson, Holmgaard, Fromberger and Matos. Who's going to get this? This is going to be close, I think, as these riders are lined up. Who's going to have the fastest go from the gun here? Let's see who's going to take it away. Well, you can just see, I think, Matos, they're not getting her usual fast start. Holmgaard very quick off from the start. Fromberger is pushing, but Matos is on the inside line at the moment as they come into this left-hand turn. And look at that, Matos has carried the pace and the speed out of that obstacle onto the step up. She makes it pay. She's continued to hold positions to come in to our wall, right behind Ella Holmgaard in 2nd place, Marion Fromberger in 3rd place, and Matos, Holmgaard and Fromberger really the hot favourites to go through. But Agnes Abramson could spring a surprise here. Abramson, a rider who you would not discount of going through, and a rider who got a top 10 in both Sweden and in Germany. So our riders fighting for a position in that final. 2 riders through, 2 riders only in the minor final, with a 5th place, the best that they can hope for in the competition overall. Here today, at the moment, Matos in 1, Holmgaard in 2, and in 3, the rider in the black there. And that is Marion Fromberger. Now Fromberger moves up into 2nd position. There are limited overtaking opportunities on this track. Who is going to make the most of them? Who's going to take a look at this and decide where they're going to go? Matos, I think, just looking like she's not holding the pace. She's just laying off a little bit so she can take a run later on. She knows that the riders will have to slow for some of these obstacles, and when they do, that is her opportunity to push onwards and to close those gaps down. So at the moment, you can just see that we have Holmgaard on the front, just drifts a little bit to the left-hand side, not as much as Matos going over there, who really got bounced across, so maybe just carrying a little bit more speed over there, just trying to get back in touch. I don't think she's given up on a place in the main final. I don't think she's holding back for a minor final position. Matos, another of our riders who we know could be right up there. She's 3rd in the competition overall. She'll be dropping points if she doesn't make the final. This time around, she didn't in Germany. She was sort of flying in the UAE. She was sort of not so good in our last Belgium round, and she's not going to be so good today, because it is Holmgaard and Fromberger who come through. They take the 1-2. Matos, I think, is going to salvage what points she can in that minor final, and she will be joined there by Agnes Abramson, who comes in and across the line. So that is our semi-finals for the women done and dusted. Qualifying into the main final, Tormena, De Vries, Holmgaard and Fromberger, Pipers, Kuiper, Matos and Abramson into our minor final. So we're rattling through the races at some pace here today in Oudenaarde. Good weather helping, and hopefully it will help our riders out you can see our two semi-finals lined up. Schwartzenberg, Hauser, Perrin-Gagné and Gerely, the riders in this. Hauser on the left, Gerely second from the left, Schwarzenberger then from France up against Perrin-Gagné on the far right-hand side. They're good to go. Let's see who will take the race away here today. Who is going to progress? Who is going to be into that minor final? Wow, these riders held. You can just see trying to balance themselves as they're good to go, and away they go. It is going to be a Perrin-Gagné who's got the inside line here, but look at this, he gets muscled out and across, and all of a sudden it looks to me like Schwartzenberg is really on form here. Quincy Schwartzenberg is improving, I think, as the season is going on here, and you can see, you can't take eyes on action for a second here, because they are all over the place here. So Quincy Schwartzenberg looking good as he goes through the manor from Amy of France, going fourth place in the competition. Overall, the man with the #1 plate is the fastest qualifier. Well, he is in front of Perrin-Gagné, his countryman, the French national champion, in second position, third place at the moment. Well, that is currently Theo Hauser, the man who had an absolutely storming quarterfinal. But can he replicate this again? He's going to be looking to move his way up into the front spot, and this straight here is key. Get position now, it's going to count, and you can just see Hauser's buried himself here on the inside line. He's trying to come up the inside. He's made it. Will he stick into this left-hand turn? He does. They stay clear of the barriers on the outside of the track. Hauser moving from third to first place. He's absolutely on fire, and what a maneuver as he came down that straight. And Perrin-Gagné, I don't think, could do anything about it. There was nothing left in there, and at the moment, Schwartzenberg, the man who led for most of lap #1, has been ejected down into third place. He used a wall ride to get himself out and round. So at the moment, it is Hauser who is looking good. So Theo Hauser, the man who has not finished and featured in the series in a big way yet. Well, I think he is going to be doing a good ride here. He should get himself into the final. The question is, will he be able to take a top 3 spot? He's going to move right up in the rankings, just courtesy of this race series, of course, running all the way through 10 rounds. This is round #5. Hauser comes through. He is looking like he's going to take that clearly from Perrin-Gagné, Schwartzenberg and Gerely going into our minor final. Okay, on to the men's second of our semi-finals. It is Niolo, Hues, Gegenheimer and Klausmann. Really interesting one, this one. Klausmann on the right, fast starter, world champion, can he rider. Hues, what a stormy rise and some interesting moves to get up there, doing a great job. And Niolo, somebody you can never discount, the Mexican, always face up. But look at this, you can just see Gegenheimer's power. He's pushed him in front, in fact, of Klausmann this time round. So it is going to be Gegenheimer, leads them on to the wooden obstacles, takes them up towards the step up. The rider's still staying safe, but a move by Niolo just pushes him into first place. So Niolo leading at the moment from Mexico. This is Gegenheimer, the German world champion, immediately behind him. Hues, along with Klausmann, in that order in third and fourth places, but they are not out of touch. Despite these obstacles coming thick and fast, these riders are quickly kicking back up to speed. You can just see out of the saddle and pushing on. It was a very quick move by Hues, and Gegenheimer, I think, is under pressure. He's looking behind him a lot, and you can make a mistake very, very easily at the moment. But you can just see Emmanuel Hues. He is the rider who really is looking good. The Italian rider continues to push onwards at the moment, and Hues, I think, could well put the world champion in trouble here. He's got a kick on him. Has he got enough of a kick to get round at the moment? He hasn't, but he's up on the shoulder of the Yolos that come round here. And look at this Gegenheimer, he's keeping an eye out. He doesn't want to expend too much energy here, but he's being forced to work really hard here, because if he eases off, either of these two riders will come around and he could be dumped from first to third place, and that is not what he needs. He needs to be top 2 to go through. So the last part of this lap is going to be critical. The long run in towards our 180 degree has begun, with Gegenheimer leading. Then it is going to be Niolo in second place in the black. And the youngster Hues moves up on the inside. He's got second place. Niolo almost, that was a rueful smile from him there. And at the moment, Hues got in second place now. Niolo has got to sprint to come around him. But will the Italian rider hold on to second place? I think he will. He's looking good at the moment. And that was a look behind the Yolo, shakes his head. It's going to be Gegenheimer who comes through. He fist bumps Hues there. So the world champion second place to Emmanuel Hues, who comes through taking the win there. Those two riders through, Castillo, Yolo and Klausman, eliminated out from the competition. Well, here in Oudenaarde, what a fantastic set of semi-finals with Hauser and Perrin Gagne going through from semi-final number 1. Hues and Gegenheimer going through from semi-final number 2. Schwartzenberg and Garely, Nayolo and Klausman all eliminated from the competition from the main final, but they will get the chance to battle it out in our minor final here in Oudenaarde. Absolutely a cracking race, I've got to say. I think Oudenaarde definitely shown that the home of Flemish cycling in East Flanders, I can certainly put on some great racing, whether it's cyclocross road or it is our XCE. So the minor final for the women coming up first, followed by the minor final for the men. Then we'll be on to our main finals. So we will see who is going to take that out. It is going to be very interesting to see who's got the pace to go clear, who is going to be eliminated into the also rounds. 4 riders in each of our finals. Top 3 positions are key. All the riders after points as well here in Oudenaarde for the overall series. The overall series led by Gaia Tolmain in the women's competition, by Simon Gegenheimer in the men's competition. The men's competition tighter than the women's competition between first and second place, but all of the riders could move up or down those standings dependent on how that racing progresses. So here in Oudenaarde, round number 5 of 10 rounds here in Belgium. The riders racing here in the square and almost directly in front of the Flanders Museum. And you can just see the riders at the pace of the action at the moment. The riders haven't kept back onto that start line incredibly quickly. And the riders in the minor finalists for positions 5, 6, 7 and 8 lined up. Bramson on the right hand side, Matos second from the right, should be in with a good chance, but Piper and Kuiper could be the riders who could take it. So we'll see who is going to take this out. So at the moment it's Matos on the front in the blue for Brazil, and second place then it's Liv Pipers in the black. Very close at the moment between Ellie Kuiper and Agnes Bramason at the moment as they make their way down the straight a little bit further back. I'm not sure who's going to take this away. They're going to be looking for points, and I suppose in terms of overall points, it matters the most to Marcela Lima Matos. Matos, the rider on the front, but nobody's going to give up easily. Not least of all our Belgian rider, Liv Pipers, who Piper's going to have the support of the home fans here. So will it be Pipers who can take victory in our minor final here today, deprive Matos of a number of points here today? That's going to be rather interesting to see. The rider who regularly races XCO as well as racing on the road, the XCE in front of Matos, another of our real all-round riders, but somebody who has really taken to the XCE, and maybe a canny race being ridden here by Matos, just waiting for a moment to just go up on to the front, not sprinting past. And a real battle behind for the positions, which are going to be 3rd and 4th in this race. It's going to be 7th and 8th position in the competition here. And at the moment, it certainly looks to me like Matos comfortably in control, not expending much energy, and really saving something for that final sprint. So the best you can achieve today should be a 5th place. The worst would be an 8th place in the eliminator part of the competition here in Oudenaarde in Belgium. Round number 5 of 10. We've got lots more rounds to come on the eliminator. The minor final, of course, the riders who didn't make it through from those semi-finals at the moment is Matos leading out in the light blue shorts, darker blue shorts. Takes that left hand to just a little correction on the way round that corner. So not all over by any stretch of the imagination. Now Liv Piper starts to wind it up, but she's tucked on the inside. She has to go wide on that corner, looking for a way round here. Has she got the speed? Is she going to deprive Matos of some points here? Matos is going to be angry with herself there. She's given away a few points there to Piper. So Piper's getting that from Matos, then Kuiper, and then Bramason. So they are going to be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place in that minor final for the women That's going to be their positions as they come out of the square at Oudenaarde. Don't forget, of course, our finals to come after the men's minor final here today. So let's take a little bit of a look back. Matos really did get a great start there. She held up position. She didn't panic though when she didn't have that lead. She knew, I think, she had the beating of Piper. She went up over the top. But then Piper surprised her. She thought maybe it was all over, but look at Piper goes down the outside here, and you can just see Matos and a bigger gear just not quite having that same kick off from the line. So on to our men's minor final. Let's see who is going to get those same positions in the men's competition. We've got Niolo, Garrely, Schwartzenberg, and Klausman. So this includes the fastest man in the time trial with that #1 plate on Schwartzenberg, not making it through to the final, and the super fast starter on the right hand side, that is Klausman, who may well look to take this away. Look at that, got problems already. Schwartzenberg there, I think that change armed up the rear mate, looks like it's sprung back up into the bike, and that is going to be game over. Well, from hero to zero, and it's a chain that's gone. It's either come off or it's broken. Can't quite make that out as it comes through. So Schwartzenberg, well, he's going to be in 8th place if he makes it in and round to the finish. But at the moment, it is going to be Klausman who is leading this race out. So at the moment, you can see Klausman leading. However, Garrely and Niolo are going to be looking at taking him out on the way through. Garrely in that plum-coloured top, the maroon red-coloured top. Klausman on the front in the German national colours. Immediately behind it is Niolo in the black. And remember, these riders, well, they have got to push all the way. They know that they want those points for the series overall. In terms of the overall series, well, Klausman has had a good series so far, maybe not as much as he would have wanted. He's currently laying in 6th position in the series. Niolo in 8th position in the series overall. Garrely, well, he's into action for the first time at this time round, and the Hungarian rider at the moment looking very, very strong. And you can see, once he got that little bit of a gap, he thought, yeah, I'm going to open this up, it's going to be enough, I think. And he could well take victory in the minor final. That's going to be a great result here. So at the moment, Attila Garrely from Hungary pushing hard here. He can't afford to make a mistake, though. He's just looking a little bit squirrely, a little bit ragged as he comes over that jump. Behind him, I don't think Niolo is giving up on this. He's trying to put the pressure on at the moment, and with the elimination of Schwartzenberg with a mechanical, it has left the door wide open. Big point score here, I think, for Garrely, who hasn't got any on the board so far in the first half of the season. He's going to manage that here today at round number 5, the last of the first half of the season. Arms in the air, you can see he's a happy man. What a win for him. He takes top spot in our minor final. He's followed over the line by Niolo, then Klausman coming in and through. And you can see the damage that was done, and gotta say, well done on Schwartzenberg. Quinton coming round, and you just see that chain broken. It is well and truly snapped. So the power coming off from the start line, snapping. It could well have been when he went for a gear, and he's going to have to try and coast his way around. More balanced bike than XCE Flying Machine as he makes his way around the course in 4th place in this race. That should be enough for 8th in the competition here today, but definitely not his day at the office. Could have been worse, because we do see riders often go over the bars. So as he makes his way around, let's take a little bit of a look back. Watch for the rider here. You can just see #1 rider as he came off from the blocks on his plate, not able to keep on going, and that was the snap chain that caused that damage. Klausman had the early move. He looks over his shoulder and was caught napping there realistically by Garrely, who came over the top, and Attila Garrely from Hungary doing the business here in the minor final. And he is going to be very happy when he gets back home to Hungary. And great to see him. He was enjoying his trip out to Belgium earlier on in the week. And I think we're going to see him again in the competition. Quincy Schwartzenberg, well, not his day at the office, because a rider who's 4th in the series overall coming in here, scored big points in the series in terms of his time trial position, but 4th place in this race, 8th in the Eliminator. Not to be his day today. Now, lined up the women's final. Gaia Tormena, Ella Holmgaard, Marianne Fromberger, and Didi de Vries in the order from left to right. Italy, Sweden, Germany, and the Netherlands, who will take away top spot. Our riders are lined up and good to go. who will take the race victory. The whistle goes, the riders are away, and it looks to me like this is a little bit closer. Tormain is still going to take the lead, but Homegaard is all over that back wheel at the moment on the right-hand side of the track, left-hand side of the track. Fromberger is not giving up on this, and we have seen Tormain be deposited down those standings. It's not just going earlier on, and certainly looks to me like we are going to see a little bit of a exciting race here. The pressure is on. Can Tormain make this stick? She's gone. It's a little bit clear here. But Marion Fromberger from Passau in Germany is after the Aosta rider from Italy, and the two riders just starting to pull a little bit clear of Ella Holmgaard. So Holmgaard from Sweden, the rider in a third position. Then it's Didi de Vries. Didi from Wilhelminatorp in the Netherlands, just coming in fourth position. She's right on the heels here. Remember, this is for the top four positions in the race. At the moment, Tormain leading Fromberger in second place. Gaia Tormain, well, she was fourth in the round at the UAE down on the island by Wolfies. At the moment, she is the rider who's leading this out. She has won every round since, and at the moment she's looking like she is on course to do the same again today. Fromberger has had a bit more of a yo-yo time. She was third in the UAE, she was fourth in the race in Belgium, she was in Sweden, she was in third in Germany, she was fourth. She's currently second in the Sandby, she's second in the race at the moment, so the front two going to form behind. Homegaard at the moment looking very good, but look at Didi de Vries on her heels at the moment. They are very close indeed, but at the moment a masterclass being given by Gaia Tormain, really going flat out now on those easier sections of the course, really pushing onwards here. So at the moment here at the fifth round of the UCI XCE, the mountain bike eliminator here in Oudenaarde. The women's final being led out by Gaia Tormain, who will have won everything apart from that first round. She's got her arms wide. Behind her comes Fromberger, second in the series, second here today. Then Ella Hogarth back on form. She'll help herself in those overall standings with a third place here today. Fifth in the series coming in, and Didi de Vries fourth in the series as she came here fourth in the finals here in Oudenaarde. We'll get that result confirmed, and remember, of course, these riders also to the scrutiny of our race concerns. Let's take a little bit of a look back ourselves at this, and you can see Tormain maybe with not quite the same lead as you would expect, and Homegaard really pushed hard on that early section. Fromberger though had the inside line coming up here, and she carried that pace nicely over the planks, obstacles around on to the wall ride. And that wall ride, the faster you come in it, the more speed you carry, the higher you can go. Gaia Tormain, though, looked absolutely on top form. Arms wide open. It might have been a first round that she would want to forget, but since then, our world champion from Italy has looked astounding and almost unstoppable. Let's hear from her now. So let's hear from Gaia Tormain. She's just down at the finish after having finished the race. So let's see how she is going to reflect back on what has been a cracking round.
Gaia, what an exciting race. Gaia, what an exciting race. How did it go?
Thank you very much. The legs were not so good as I was expecting, so I really tried to play a mental game. And it works. It worked. I don't know if it is because of the track, but Oudenaarde is always very, very hard. So I'm happy about how I raced, and yeah, that's all. Now I'm very tired.
Thank you very much.
Well, great to hear from Gaia Tormain down there, and the plan worked, and you can see that by the time 1 minute 58 win 1.88 seconds clear. Ella Homegaard taking second loser, as it were, and but third place he's going to be happy with. Actually, going to be on the podium. So our riders are lined up. They're going to be down and ready for the flower ceremony down on the line. So you can see there our top 3 riders. Guy Tormainer taking the win, Marion Fromberger in 2nd place, Ella Holmgaard taking 3rd place here at round number 5 in Oudenaarde. And the standings, well, Tormainer leading from Fromberger, then Matos still holding that 3rd place digit-free, so moving while scoring more points along with Holmgaard, Kuiper as well, and Abrahamson moving up into a 9th place position. Don't forget, of course, all of the rounds still to come. We've still got 5 more rounds. We're at the halfway point now for the women. So lots more racing, lots more point scoring opportunities to come. And by no means a perfect score by Guy Tormainer there. Now on to our men's final. As you can see, lined up at Theo Hauser on the left-hand side, Emmanuel Hues, second rider from the left side, Gegenheimer, the world champion, third from the Tito and Perrin Gagne. Right-hand side of the start straight, all riders good to go. Let's see who will take away victory. And here they go. And Perrin Gagne taking a look over his shoulder while sprinting out there. He was making sure that he had a safe start, but that's a very composed look at Dross as you're coming out with the blocks there by Perrin Gagne. And he's the guy sitting on the left-hand side of the screen. But look at this, House is not having any of it. He almost jumped straight across the face of Gegenheimer, slapping him in the front wheel with his rear wheel there. It was really close there as they came to a mistake there. That could have been a very big mistake to make. And Gegenheimer, the world champion, looking at how's he going to look, how's he going to go past, where is he going to think about trying to go past Hauser at the moment, not respecting those world championship strikes. That was a cheeky move on that ramp as he came across and maybe made a mistake, but it looks very, very intentional. And Gegenheimer, I think Mr. Moustache has got himself wound up here because I don't think he was overly happy about that move there. Perrin Gagne, the former world champion, the French national champion, in 3rd place, and now 4th place right here at the moment. You can just see really is struggling, and that is Emmanuel Hauser. I think that race to get into the final really took its toll on him. But he could come back very easily. One mistake and it could all change here at the finals here in Oudenaarde. The XCE World Cup, it is going to come down to this final part of the track. 3 riders very close together. They've got a twisting section. They got over this double. It's a little bit slow. Slight step up. Now Gegenheimer makes a move. He goes over the top. He puts the power down. Hauser straight onto his back wheel. And Hauser is not giving him a millimetre here. Well, they say rubbing is racing, and that is definitely going to be the case between these two. There's some tyre buzzing, I think, going on as they come into that corner. Gegenheimer's out, and he carries more momentum. And look at this, Hauser's got Perrin Gagne on his heels. Gegenheimer's got the gap. He sits up, he knows he's going to get the win, but what's happening behind him? It's so close, I wouldn't want to call that. It's Perrin Gagne who gets it, and then Hauser who takes 3rd place. And look at Gegenheimer, you can hardly believe it. Great ride by Emmanuel Hues. He takes 4th place here today. But what a race out on the course. And I've got to say, shows when the going gets tough, the world champions show their worth here. And you can just see what is taken out of the riders. His body's laid all over the track here in Oudenaarde because they are just absolutely shattered. Let's watch some of this again. So here we go. You can see Perrin Gagne on the side there, just takes a look down at Gegenheimer. Hauser comes out the blocks in 4th position, 4th. He then takes a move, comes all the way across and was very lucky not to end up whipping across the very front wheel of Gegenheimer. Gegenheimer was right on the hillside. He thought he needed to stay close. He made his move and got past the youngster, but then that sprint in, Hauser, I think, just running out of gas just on the final run to line. Perrin Gagne just holding on for 2nd. Gegenheimer, another win this time around, and after this win, that is going to make a long, successful run for him. Let's see how Simon's getting on.
Simon, this is your 4th UCI World Cup win this year. How did it go?
I'm pretty happy. It was insane to win 3 races in a row and also win it in front of the home crowd. But now again a win after a hard 2 weeks. I'm pretty stoked and really happy.
Simon, you're going to Asia afterwards this one. What are your thoughts about going to Sakarya?
Yeah, it's great. We are World Cup. It's great to visit all around the world, all big cities like Indonesia. I'm looking forward to these races, and I want to defend my leader jersey.
Thank you very much.
So great to hear from Simon Gegenheimer there, the world champion, doing the business once again here down in Oudenaarde, in the home of cycling realistically in the Flanders region, with the Museums of Flanders race, as well as the Koppenberg Cross. And added to winners down here, it is Simon Gegenheimer who takes the win from Perrin Gagné and Theo Hauser, then Emmanuel Huez. So our top three riders here in Oudenaarde: Simon Gegenheimer taking the win, Tito and Perrin Gagné second, and Theo Hauser taking third place. Our world champions, reinforcing why they are the top of the world, because they are also leading our World Cup standings as well. And you can see Simon Gegenheimer now pulling a little bit further clear from Perrin Gagné. So great racing here today. Schwartzenberg is still holding third place, but that gap between him and Klausman narrowed down a little bit, because Schwartzenberg having that issue in the minor final. And Niolo moving his way up and through. Ricky Morales with a good result here today as well. Halfway point, 5 races done. We have 5 more rounds of the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup still to go. And looking forward to some exciting races, some brand new venues on the World Cup scene. We'll see which of our riders are able to excel when we head out and around onwards from here in Oudenaarde. So great racing here, lots more exciting racing to come. The UCI Mountainbike Eliminator Series wraps up here in Oudenaarde. Well, thank you very much for watching here at Oudenaarde. It's been amazing action. Catch up with more of the series as we move on to the final 5 rounds. A pleasure putting words to the action. My name's Matt Payne from everybody at the UCI XCE Eliminator. We'll see you soon again. Bye-bye.